ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, or if you're listening to this in the morning, then good morning. If you're listening to this at nighttime, then good evening. Welcome back to Flacco's Fun World Podcast. Now, this episode, as you guys saw the title, and you also saw the thumbnail for it, we're diving in back to one of the most popular horror game franchises in the entire world, and that is Five Nights at Freddy's, or FNAF, as a shorter term for Five Nights at Freddy's. If you guys don't know what FNAF is, and I'm not really sure where you've been, FNAF has been around since the year 2012 and is still here till 2024. And well, I wanted to talk about one of the more interesting months I had, and that was celebrating the 10th anniversary for FNAF. That's right, Five Nights at Freddy's has been around for 10 years, and it's been growing very, very rapidly, in a good way, of course. And for the 10th anniversary, if you guys follow Scott Games on Twitter, you would have seen that we had all kinds of recent updates and upcoming events, such as the new FNAF game, like Five Laps at Freddy's, which is basically Mario Kart, but it's FNAF. You can play it on Steam. I don't think you can play it anywhere else. So if you guys have Steam, then you will be able to try the game for yourself. If it comes out on any other different console or gaming platform, just let me know. Believe it or not, I know you guys can't see it because I don't have my face cam yet. I'm still working on that. I have my Five Nights at Freddy's coffee mug. That was very loud of an echo. I'm not sure why. Anyways, yeah, I'm drinking out of my FNAF coffee mug. I'm a big FNAF fan, okay? Like, I've been a FNAF fan ever since I was introduced to FNAF in, like, I don't remember when, but, where was I? Oh yeah, Five Laps at Freddy's, right? It's a racing game where, it's basically Mario Kart, but it's FNAF. Okay, and I think you can play the demo now, but I don't actually know like the full release. But I think it will probably be released around 2025, maybe, like the full game, possibly. I don't really know. Also, we had the teaser trailer for the upcoming FNAF game known as Secret of the Mimic, which I, of course, just by its name, we learn about the Mimic. The Mimic has become very popular ever since the Mimic first made its debut in Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach Ruin, which is a free DLC game that you can play if you have Security Breach on Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, all that kind of stuff. I have Security Breach, and I actually am replaying it right now. If you want me to make a gaming video of me playing Security Breach, I will do so. Since it is October, which is the month of Halloween and horror, so FNAF fits into that category. So if you guys want me to record myself playing Security Breach, or at least Ruin, then let me know. I also have Help Wanted on the VR. If you guys want me to do that as well, also let me know. And yeah, if you guys want to check out the teaser trailer, all you got to do is spell Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic trailer, or you can just click the link in the description below, so that way you can get there quicker and check out the video for yourself. All right. So it's what I will spoil a little bit, just really quick. In there's this box, and it's kind of like, oh, the puppet, but it's not the puppet. It's this clown-looking animatronic, which we believe is to be the Mimic, which means the Mimic was around for a very long time. And if you guys watch the video and you pause it at a specific section where it says 1973, that's when the Mimic was around the year of 1973, but which also means that it's not really called Five Nights at Freddy's, but Freddy Fazbear's has been along for a long time, and thanks to the teasers of Help Wanted 2 and also Help Wanted, if you guys play the game yourself, you will find out that Freddy Fazbear's has been around, and it first started as a circus, not as a pizza place. But that is the rumor that's been going on, and hopefully Secret of the Mimic will be able to explain that to us a lot more, if we can understand more about the lore of how basically Freddy Fazbear's began in the first place. But that's something we're going to have to talk about another time. Also, we finally have FNAF Into the Pit released on Xbox, PlayStation. They did hold on Nintendo. I'm not really sure what happened. They said there was like some sort of bug going on. So if you guys have a Nintendo Switch, you're going to have to wait maybe just a little bit longer. But yes, you can play FNAF Into the Pit on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox, which I have an Xbox, and I played the entire game. And I'm probably going to do a rerun. I didn't record it because I didn't really want to, but you guys want me to record it. I'll record it on the channel. The channel is called Flock of the Great, in case if you guys didn't know that. If you guys don't know where to find that, just click the link in the description below and subscribe to the channel. I'm okay. I'm alright. Also, we were sent BTS photos of Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which is the next FNAF movie coming out in the year of 2025 of December 5th. Talk about a good Christmas gift, to take your girlfriend, to take your boyfriend, to take your best friends, to take your group of friends, or just go by yourself. I mean, I don't know if your parents like FNAF, but if they do, then this is the perfect chance for them to watch FNAF 2. But FNAF 2 is coming to theaters on December 5th of 2025. And if you guys follow Scott Games, you will see the behind-the-scenes photos of the animatronics. I wish I could show you guys the photos right now, but I don't have the photos available at the moment since I do not have a face cam. But there was the making of the toy Bonnie, which is one of the animatronics in FNAF 2, which came out in the year 2014, the second game. And we also have works on the were there animatronics? The puppet. And we also found out who's going to be in the film, which we'll be having John Hutcherson, who reprised his role as Mike Smitch. And we also have Matthew Lillard reprise his role as William Afton. But that is something we're going to be talking about today, but we're going to get to there in just a second. All right, let's get back to, like I said, FNAF Into the Pit came out, and it's a really good game. It's probably one of the best games that I've seen in a long time FNAF make. Not saying Security Breach wasn't good, but it definitely was a little bit buggy, It could have had a lot more done, but FNAF Into the Pit was really fun. And since I already read the book, Into the Pit, which is one of the Fazbear Frights books, if you guys ever read it, then you will kind of understand of how it works. I mean, they did definitely change some things in the game, but that's totally fine because it still worked, and it was really fun. You can get all kinds of different secret endings and Easter eggs and all that. It was kind of cool. I'm so sorry if that annoys you guys. I remember. But yeah, we were sent behind the scenes photos of FNAF 2, the movie, of the animatronics into work. We don't exactly have a trailer release date yet. We still have not got that trailer. I'm believing it's either going to come by the end of this year or somewhere around the beginning of 2025, and we're probably going to have that very first trailer. Or it may not come out for, who knows, maybe until like the summer of 2025. I'm not really sure what their plan is to release the trailer, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. But I know they definitely released some new FNAF book series, and other than that, we were also sent 4 scripts that were from the FNAF 2 movie. However, 3 of them are fake. 1 of them is real. And I've been reading those scripts a lot recently. If you guys want me to do an episode about which one I think is real, then please let me know. And I'll give you a theory about which ones I think are fake and which one is real. Alright guys, but before we begin, remember, hit that follow button and hit the notification bell so you can get notified of every new episode that comes out here on this podcast. Check out my channel, Flock of the Great. We have 403 subscribers. Let's see if we can get to 500 as soon as possible. Alright. Today we're talking about FNAF 2. If you guys read the title, it said, William Afton is not the villain. Now I know what you're thinking. What do you mean? William Afton is the main antagonist of every FNAF game that's ever come out. He's the main villain of it all. He's the reason why all this is happening. Yes. But in order for me to answer that question, we're going to have to go back into FNAF 1. Five Nights at Freddy's 1 came out on October 23rd of 2023. Or was it? No, not 23rd. It actually came out on October 27th of 2023 in theaters, and me and my friends went to go see it right on the first day it came out. Now, of course, FNAF 1 was questionable, had a lot of debates, arguments. It wasn't really high in the Rotten Tomato, but the box office said otherwise. With over $298.3 million in box office, Five Nights at Freddy's became a huge success and one of the top horror films for a very long time, at least in the year of 2023. Now, let's recap about what exactly FNAF 1 was about. Now, if you guys have not yet seen the movie, then this will contain spoilers about FNAF 1, but I'm sure for all my FNAF fans out there, you probably have seen it already. If you haven't, go to your Prime Video, okay, and watch it. It's free on my Prime Video, so I don't know if it's free on yours, but if it is, then you can watch it. If not, then at least rent it for like, what, $5? If you want to buy it for 20, buy it for $20. I mean, it's not the greatest movie, but it still was like okay for the movie. I mean, you can't really blame them. I mean, FNAF 1 was only given $2 million to make the movie, which is, or was it? No, they were given $20 million to make the movie, which is not really a lot of money to make a movie. But because it did so well in box office and it got a lot of money, they are probably going to be given more money, and that way FNAF 2 can probably do better with the quote-unquote horror, because that's what FNAF is. And I'm not talking about the horror song. I'm talking about like the actual word horror. Like, it's supposed to be scary, which FNAF 1 wasn't really scary. It doesn't really bring out the FNAF vibes we were hoping. The animatronics look cool. I mean, sure, Bonnie was blue, which was, I'm not sure why you changed his color. Why couldn't he have just been purple? Because Bonnie's always been purple, but they made him blue instead of purple. Like, why do you make Bonnie blue? I mean, I get it, Bonnie blue and not Bonnie purple, because they both have B's and BP doesn't really work. But BB, I mean, come on. Bonnie blue? No. We wanted purple. 1 second. Why is that so loud? I'm gonna have to check that out. Anyways, FNAF 1. It's a story about Mike and his little sister Abby. Mike needs a job because he lost his other job after he assaulted a man because he thought the man was capturing a child, but come to find out that man was actually the dad of that child. That's kind of awkward. A man by the name of Steven, who we find out later is William Afton, asks him to at least try out the job at the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place, which was abandoned. Well, then, of course, it was part of William Afton's trap. But, of course, Mike survives. With the help of Vanessa, who Vanessa is a security guard. Well, which was very interesting that Vanessa was already introduced into the FNAF movie lore, since Vanessa was kind of the main antagonist of Security Breach, and you got to play as Vanessa in Help Wanted 2? No, Help Wanted 1. No, it was 2. Help Wanted 1. Was where you got to play as Vanessa, and Vanessa was in Help Wanted 2 as well, I do believe. But let's continue, shall we? So Mike then realizes that this is no ordinary pizza place, and that these animatronics are alive. And he finds out later that these are the souls of the children that William Afton murdered. And well, long story short, Mike realizes that this is definitely not the job he wants to keep. Now, the reason why he even took this job was to make sure that Abby was not taken away by the crazy aunt that smells like weed. And I can understand why they did not want to go with someone that smells like weed. I know they said smoke, but I'm going to go with weed because it's the world that we live in. But also, Mike wanted to work at this job because the more he worked at the job, he soon began to realize that Garrett seems to have a connection with this place. And then he begs for the souls of the children to tell them about what happened with Garrett. And they were like, well, you can be with Garrett again if you just give us Abby. And he was like, oh, yeah. But he was like, wait, no. But it was too late. They took Abby and they were going to put her inside of this circus-looking baby animatronic. Wink, 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 circus baby. And then, long story short, Mike saves her, and then the yellow rabbit comes. I was about to say yellow bear. That's Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy isn't in the movie, which is kind of cool. You know what else is in the movie? Matt Pat from Game Theory and Film Theory. May he rest in peace. He's not dead, but retired. So, and Corey X Kenshin. May he rest in peace again, because he's also retired. I really hope he does come back. But if he doesn't, at least you can watch all his content. It was just really cool. Got to find out that William Afton is the daddy of Vanessa, and then there's this big battle, boom, bam, bing, bang, and then, the animatronics find out that William Afton was the one who killed him after Abby replaced the drawings on the wall, and then he got spring-locked, and then the whole building burns and dies and gets destroyed, and then, the end, happy ending. Or is it? Or is it? That's what they say, right? But everybody knows Five Nights at Freddy's will not have a happy ending. In fact, it will begin. I can't speak. It will be the beginning of our most famous, infamous killer, William Afton. Okay, so that's where it leads us to FNAF 2. Alright, so. Oh, hang on. Oh, hang on, guys. My friend Renard just went to Chick-fil-A, but I took today off to celebrate Liberty's birthday. I'm sorry, Renard. Oh, we are definitely gonna have a talk on Friday. Where was I? FNAF 2. The next part of Five Nights at Freddy's. So, what is it that we know so far before we get into the main subject of today's episode? Well, we know that FNAF 2 is going to be a sequel to Five Nights at Freddy's 1. While many people rumored and thought that it was going to be a prequel, which means it was the events before FNAF 1, come to find out, no. It is a sequel. It's the events that happened after the movie. Now, the reason why people thought it was a prequel is because of the game timeline. In FNAF 2, it was based around 1983 or 1987. It's one of those. But FNAF 2 was a prequel to the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 game, which was around the year 1999 or the year 2000. So that's why people thought that FNAF 2, the movie, was going to be a prequel. But Emma Tamey blew our minds again and made it into a sequel instead. By the way, if you don't know who Emma Tamey is, she's the director of Five Nights at Freddy's 1, who works in Blumhouse Studios, who make all kinds of horror films. But let's focus here. So, we know it's a sequel. These are the events after everything that happened. What is the timeline? Probably maybe a couple years after everything happened. I just feel like that kind of makes sense. Maybe like 2-3 years later after everything happened, because Abby will probably still be very young, and maybe they're just moving on with their lives, or maybe they're still traumatized after everything that happened. I don't know. Like I said, we don't really have enough for the storyline, but we do know who's going to be in there. We'll have our returning main characters like Mike and Abby, and a Vanessa, obviously, and then we're probably going to have Matthew Lillard played as William Afton. But that's what I want to talk about today. Now, if you watch the movie all over again and you really take your time and just study the way the film is being portrayed, and you catch up with the news for FNAF, I think that William Afton is not the main villain for Five Nights at Freddy's 2. In fact, I think they're saving for his big return for FNAF 3. Now, this is why, hear me out. Before you start unfollowing me, giving me a 0 star because of my theories, which I'm not sure why you would do that, because I'm a very cool person. And that's not the point. The point is, FNAF 2's villain will not be William Afton. Now, am I saying he's not in the film? I never said he won't be in the film. But not in the way you may think he might be in the film. So let's just start with where we left off William Afton. Well, he got spring locked in his spring Bonnie suit, and he dies, basically, in a very slow and painful death. But as we know, he always comes back, and he will come back. But not quite yet. Think about it. It's only been a couple years, at least that's how I think the timeline's going to be, since William Afton got spring locked. He's probably still dead right now. He has not come back yet. At least that's not what I think. Think about it. In FNAF 3, which was 30 years after FNAF 1, that's when William Afton comes back in the brand new Freddy Fazbear's, or it's not Freddy Fazbear's, Fazbear's Fright, which was basically the haunted house with the haunted animatronics that we know and love, but in a scarier form. And that's when Springtrap, or William Afton, comes back 30 years later. Now, I'm not sure if that's how the timeline's going to work when the FNAF 3 comes out. But just hear me out. We have already had rumors and theories. Yes? You know, guys, I'm going to have to come back because it is dinner time. But we will resume in just a moment. Everybody, I am back, and what may have seemed like 50 seconds to you was actually about 3 hours later. That's right, because today was Liberty's birthday, 16th birthday. So let's clap that up. Clap that up. That's right. Today was her 16th birthday. We had some fun. We did a scavenger hunt where she found her gifts, and then we had some delicious cake. Now, where were we on? Oh yeah, Freddy Fazbear. Five Nights at Freddy's 3. So we have had already rumors about FNAF 3 being in the works, which is crazy because if the directors have so much faith that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 will be a success. What was I saying? Well, yeah, basically the fact that they have enough faith that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is probably going to be a big success. This means something is they're already putting into the works Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Now, this is where my theory comes in, because if you guys have played Five Nights at Freddy's 3, which I believe came out in 2016, it was about William Afton, right? Five Nights at Freddy's 3 was basically about William Afton, well, basically in a Springtrap form. That was what Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is about. That's when he returned in his new monstrous form. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why I think William Afton is going to come back in FNAF 3. Like in his new Springtrap form. The form that we know and love and fear. So, if that is the case then, and that William Afton is going to appear as Springtrap in FNAF 3, does that mean that he will not be in Five Nights at Freddy's 2? I never said that, since Matthew, the person who plays as William Afton, did already theorize that he was going to be in FNAF 2. But I believe it's going to be in a different way or form. Maybe we will see some past scenes of him when he was working at this pizza place. Perhaps with his partner, which we know was Henry in the video games. Well, we're going to get into that subject in just quite a second. But maybe we will get to see William Afton in his younger form when he was working in the pizza place. Maybe we even see him commit the crimes that he did, which led to the point where we are in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. So, if that is true, then maybe we're going to have to wait for him to come back into Springtrap form till Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Maybe, if quite possible, we may even get a scene like, I don't know, like an ending scene, like the end credit scene where we see him in a Springtrap form come back to life. And that's where it'll be like, bam, he's coming back in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, which will probably be focusing on him as the main antagonist for Five Nights at Freddy's. That is my theory. I believe William Afton will show in FNAF 2, but not in the way many people have been thinking. Possibly he will show himself as in his past form, the younger version of William Afton before he became what he is now. So, if that is true, and William Afton is not the main villain for Five Nights at Freddy's 2, then who is the villain of FNAF 2? That's what we're going to get into next. And it's going to start by yet again going right back into Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Now, before we do that, I totally forgot that we had to talk about this main important subject is the death of a young girl named Charlie. And if you guys have played the FNAF games, you would know about the death of Charlie. Charlie was the daughter of Henry Emily, who was the partner of William Afton. They've been partners and friends for a long time and started the Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria together. Henry worked on the animatronics while William, of course, was the businessman. However, there was conflict between the two later on as they were working on the productions for this. And well, William Afton got jealous and angry against Henry Emily. So angry and jealous that he decided to commit a very, very, very evil sin. And that was killing his beloved daughter, Charlie. Now, as we all know, Charlie was the first victim of William Afton. At least that's what we are believed to be, right? But, if you guys know, Charlie then took her new form as the puppet. Now, the puppet, we'll get into that in just a second. The puppet is rumored to be in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Since, if you guys stayed all the way to the end credits of the movie, you can actually hear the puppet's music box playing in the end. Which we believe is that the puppet is going to be Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which will make sense since the puppet made its first debut in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the 2014 video game. Now, the puppet, if you guys don't really know too much about, the puppet is somewhat the protector of the souls of the children. If you guys didn't know, the puppet was doing everything it can to protect the souls of the children from William Afton. If, of course, the puppet failed to actually save a child, it would take their soul and put it into the animatronics and protect those children any way possible and kill anybody that stands in his way. Or her ways, I guess you could say, since Charlie is the soul of the puppet, while the puppet was meant to be a male figurine. So, why am I telling you guys about this? Well, that's when we need to go back to FNAF 1, where we talk about a very sad, tragic death of Garrett Schmidt. Garrett Schmidt is the younger brother of Mike Schmidt before Abby was born. If you guys watched the film, you would know that Garrett was captured by William Afton and then later on murdered, as William Afton boasted about by the end of the movie in his spring Bonnie suit. Now, the reason why I talk about the death of Garrett is because if you guys watch the movie and take your time and really process about what was going on, there was something very odd and different about the death of Garrett and the other children. For instance, the other children were lured away by a man dressed in a yellow bunny suit, aka William Afton, and then they were murdered and stuffed into the suits. Right? That's the way he usually does his murder sprees. However, with Garrett, it was very, very different. If you guys think about it now, you probably know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then let me explain. William Afton was able and willing to drive all the way to where, I guess, the Schmidt family was having their picnic, to the point he was willing to drive up there, capture Garrett, and then take him away and then murder him. Now, to some of you say, well, okay, because William Afton's a murderer. But does anybody else realize why doesn't he do that for the other children? And why Garrett? Why this specific child had to die or at least be taken this way? It's because, ladies and gentlemen, I believe William Afton's act against Garrett was vengeance. Yeah, that's right, Batman. Vengeance. Vengeance. Okay, sorry. Now, listen up. Garrett, I believe, was murdered out of anger and vengeance from William Afton. Why? Maybe it has to do with the father of the Schmidt family. Think about it. William Afton murdered Charlie, the daughter of Henry Emily, out of act of vengeance. I believe Garrett's death here is the same. And I don't know why. Maybe we'll find out in FNAF 2. But what I believe is that Mike's father was once a partner of William Afton. Now, am I saying that Mike's dad is Henry Emily? I never said that. I feel like that's kind of a stretch. But Blumhouse Productions did change a lot of the lore for Five Nights at Freddy's, so maybe Mike's dad is Henry Emily, or possibly not. I'm not saying he is. However, I feel like that Mike's dad and, of course, William Afton work very close partners. In fact, in FNAF 1, it is rumored that the person in the screen who was working on the endoskeleton when Mike was watching the intro video for Five Nights at Freddy's was actually Mike's dad. Now, again, that's a big stretch, but there were some similarities, and maybe it's an Easter egg that we didn't even notice. And if that man was truly Mike's dad in the video, then that proves the theory that once Mike's dad and William Afton were once partners in the Freddy Fazbear's business. Something went wrong, they had an argument or something. William Afton became so angry, he was willing to capture the father's child, Garrett, and murder him. That, ladies and gentlemen, is where it leads to the puppet. Because I believe, and I've said this before, but I feel like my theory is much more stronger now, that Garrett is the puppet. And now Garrett wants to protect the souls of these children from William Afton, and will do anything he can in his power to make sure that it doesn't happen, even if it means having to murder people. Now, is the puppet evil? I don't believe evil is the right term. Now, the puppet will kill anybody that stands in his ways for sure, but he doesn't do it because he's evil. He does it to protect the souls of the children and the animatronics. That's where I believe Garrett comes in. We don't know what happened to Garrett. We don't know where he is. Well, maybe in FNAF 2, we might find out that Garrett is the puppet in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And I feel like this would be a really cool, important moment when Mike finally realized that his own little brother has been found in the form of the puppet. Plus, I feel like that will also put Vanessa in danger, since Vanessa may have a big part in this as well. If you guys remember, Garrett had a red plane that he was playing, and then when he got captured, William Afton took that toy and gave it to Vanessa. Maybe Garrett and Vanessa once met before Garrett was murdered. And then when Garrett became the puppet, he probably wants vengeance on not just William Afton, but Vanessa. I mean, do you guys see where I'm going with this? Like, the sins of Vanessa's father now is on her, which I feel like would be kind of cool, and it kind of makes sense. I don't know. The point is, I believe that the puppet, aka Garrett, will be somewhat of the antagonist of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And after all these years later, brother and brother, and I guess you could say sister and brother meet each other again, but not in the way people were expecting. Now, this is just a theory, guys. I don't even know if my theory is correct. For all I know, I could be totally 100% wrong. Okay? So, if what I'm saying is wrong, then I'm sorry. You shouldn't have listened to me. But I just feel like it just makes sense. Like the way I've been studying for a bit, watching game theory, like watching the movies and like reading articles and all that, and I just feel like it makes sense for the story to be put this way. Now, we really won't have an answer until the trailer or even when the movie comes out. That's when our answer will come. Now, I don't have, or I guess we really don't have any other information about what FNAF 2 could be like and like what's the story plot and all that. So, my theory is Garrett is the puppet. He is the main antagonist for Five Nights at Freddy's 2, not William Afton. And maybe we get to see, or at least hear about how William Afton's actions have affected these animatronics, or how his actions have affected so many people's lives. Yes, sure. But he's not going to be the main antagonist like many people think he is. I believe that role is going to belong to the puppet or Garrett. Maybe William Afton may show up in a couple of not behind the scenes, but like into the past scenes where we go back into the past when all this happens. Yes, but I don't think he's going to come back as Springtrap until Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that was my theory for Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Hey, let me know if you guys agree with my theory or not. And if you don't, then please let me know what you think, because I like to hear from other people, like what do they think about what FNAF 2 could possibly be about. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, thank you so much for listening to Flacco's Fun World Podcast. If you guys want me to do more theories about movies, games, or whatnot, then please let me know. And remember, I will try to upload an episode about once a week. And I decided to just make 2 because, like, why not? So, anyways, guys, may God bless, and I'll see you for more Flacco's Fun World Podcast.